What up? I am the mullet man, Jeremy Greene. He is the Canadian David Smith, and it's time to talk fantasy football after what was maybe the weirdest Monday night game I've seen in a long time.
One team came to play, and the other team thought that they could win that easily.
Yeah, that was, and then Taylor Heineke went full Busch Lights, Kirk Cousins on the way home.
So there are two big takeaways from that game for me. One of them, referees suck.
Oh my God!
You cannot, you can't wait for bad calls to help you out, and you can't wait for bad calls to go against you. You just have to assume the refs are bad, because the refs are bad. They're bad, but bad.
Last night was pretty awful.
And listen, Eagles fans, I'm sorry. That was maybe the softest, one of the softest roughing the passer penalties I've ever seen. And
I vehemently disagree with you on that.
See, I'm of the mind that he should not have hit him. He's a veteran. He should know better. And I did feel a little bit like at the end there's a little bit of embellishment from old Heineken there, but the rest of that face mask, like
the face mask is the one I'm dumbfounded that you missed.
Of course he fumbled the ball. You're poking his eyes out.
And the fact that you can't go back and unwind that after you very obviously see it is, I talk about this at least twice a year of how are we still doing this? How are we still at a point where we can't look at that and go, yeah, we boo-boo kitted that, and now we need to fix it, but we can't.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. That was someone predicted this loss. Someone predicted it. It wasn't me. Well, you predicted the cover.
I predicted the cover. I cannot even claim to begin to say that I predicted the loss. I think you had to be a witch to see that coming.
Yeah, this is good for the Eagles. They need that. Get it out of the way. Get that 0 loss weighs heavy on a team as the year goes on. It doesn't mean much through the first 6 weeks of the year. 6-0, lots of teams get to 6-0. Once you start getting into 7, 8, then people start talking a little more seriously about, where are you going with this? What's going to happen? And this is good. You just need to set it your way. Just get it out of the way.
George Cook in our YouTube comments said, A.J. Brown crushed my soul last night. Mine too, in a few leagues, and Miles Sanders really crushed it. Yeah. I didn't need much, and I got less than I needed.
Yeah.
But are you worried about anything with Philadelphia moving forward?
No.
Neither am I. I look at it. I think Nick Sirianni had a really bad night. This is one that he's going to go back and look at and go, I did not put us in the best position to succeed.
Nope.
And the one thing I will say is Jalen Hurts is exactly who I told you he was for several years. He gets behind, he's in trouble.
Yes. I will say Jalen Hurts was not the reason they lost that game.
He was not. It was death by 1,000 paper cuts. In our Discord server, of which if you are a member of the House of Reprehensibles, you have access to that. It's on the perks page on YouTube. We were talking about this last night. I said, look, I've played in games like this where even when you do something right, something wrong happens directly afterwards, and it just your soul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we'll get to some questions here early. We have some sweeping declarations, some guys to chase, some guys not to chase. This is a good week on the waiver wire. Soaring Eagle asked, are you still comfortable with CMC being the headline back now with Elijah Mitchell? Absolutely.
Of course I am.
Here's the thing about Elijah Mitchell. Do you know how many snaps he played? The entire game. He had, 18 carries?
Yeah, probably 30.
You're too high.
Snaps.
It's 25.
25? Yeah.
CMC still outsnapped him 2-1. It just so happened that he got the running work. And I'll be honest with you, that actually makes me feel slightly better about CMC. As a Panther affiliate, trust me, I have watched I watched the Panthers run him into the ground. And by the end of the year, he looks like a spent hooker. The fact that there is somebody that can help him out, I'm perfectly okay with. I think both are rosterable. CMC is a top 5 running back rest of the year. I would say Elijah Mitchell's a back-end RB2.
There's no way that I would be upset about having CMC on my team.
Correct. Rest of season, I updated my ranks yesterday. CMC is my 4 at running back, and Elijah Mitchell is, if my computer will go. God, technology and I are just not getting along today.
Listen, chat. Listen, it's not been a great day for either of us. So
No.
You're gonna have to. We're going through one. What we're here for you. We're gonna see what we can do.
I spent the first hour of my day searching for a Santa suit. If that tells you anything about where I'm at right now. Elijah Mitchell's my RB27, so he's a high-end RB3 rest of year.
Yeah.
Kevin, the PRF, is a Commanders fan, so we must shout him out and say congratulations on your victory.
Yeah. Look, you guys did this is a game plan run to perfection. Run the ball, keep the ball out of the hands of the Eagles, who realistically are the more talented team, and they played it well. Riverboat Ron didn't do anything too riverboaty. It was perfect. Well executed.
I agree. It was a good night for the for the Commandos.
Yeah, for a team that shouldn't be as bad as they are.
I've said that for weeks. They're not nearly as bad as they are being given credit for, and that defense is getting better.
Yes, it is.
He also asked, why can't they split pass interference into intentional and unintentional? Don't like the incidental contact being a 40, 50-yard gain. I don't disagree with you. I don't in any way disagree with you. It drives me insane. I like the college rule of 15 yards on all pass interference and call it good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Hosey asked, Zeke or Pacheco rest a year as my RB2?
Ooh, okay.
This is this is a really interesting question to me.
It might be Pacheco for me, but that's real bootsy, because my issue is that Pollard's clearly the better back in Dallas, but they give Zeke tote regardless. I don't know where you sit on either of them. I'm gonna lean Pacheco rest of year for RB2.
So for me, this is going to be kind of a 6 one way, half dozen the other. It depends on who your other running back is. If you have somebody super consistent, a Nick Chubb, Christian McCaffrey, who we talked about earlier, Derrick Henry, somebody like that, I'm going Pacheco. Because I can deal with the big weeks are going to be good. And I think he has clearly taken over that backfield. I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire played 4 snaps in a game that was close-ish. It was never really in doubt, but it was close-ish.
Yeah.
That tells me everything I need to know. Andy Reid finally figured out that thing I said the night they drafted him, which is Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not good at football.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm gonna say it's Pacheco, unless you have a really unsettled RB1 and you need the stability without the upside on Zeke. I think each will be usable, and it'll be kind of a matchup play.
100%.
George Cook, first of all, said, didn't know we were in Asheville. He's in the Raleigh-Durham area, not far from us. I am in Asheville. My Canadian friend here is in Canada.
Yeah.
And then the other guy that usually does this show is also in Asheville with me.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a lifer, and I've been here off and on for 30 years. I leave and keep coming back. And politics drives me away a lot, because this is a city where everybody has an opinion and they really want you to hear it.
I'm deaf, dumb, and blind.
And I'm one of those that, you think what you want. Just keep it, like, over there.
Yeah.
DJ DuVernay, AO need a tight end for Evan Ingram with the bye week. Best options are Moreau, Komet, and Trey McBride. Kind of leaning McBride for the unknown upside and potential rest of season chances. I think Trey McBride is an underrated pickup this week with Zach Ertz being done for the year.
Yeah.
The only thing that scares me is that he couldn't block me. Not that they were asking Zach Ertz to be, a road grader, run blocker tight end. I'm not sure that doesn't get split into some weird 50-50 with him and Max Williams. I do like Trey McBride. If I had to take one of those, it would be Cole Kmet.
It's Cole Kmet for me. If it's just for the bye, and I know you're looking at potential rest of season upside, Cole Kmet's going to get used more and more. And I think we have one more week of the glorious running rampage of Justin Fields.
And then all comes tumbling after.
Yeah, and he'll use Kmet as his safety blanket.
This week being trade deadline week in a lot of leagues, if you can trade Justin Fields, I highly advise you do it for a lot.
Fields and one Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon, also and for those two, you can get damn near anything in the league. And I want to trade them both. I've traded Justin Fields in damn near every league that I had him in.
Yeah.
He also followed that up with Kadarius Toney, Van Jefferson, or Paris Campbell stash rest of season full PPR.
Paris Campbell is interesting if Matty Ice is playing. I like Van Jefferson's boomer bust. He's going to get you like a point. He's going to get you like 14 points. Because he's their big play guy, right? Like, you're not going to see much out of Van Jefferson.
Well, I mean, here's the thing that bothers me about Van Jefferson, and this kind of slides into another topic that I want to talk about today. This offense blew dead bears with Cooper Kupp. What do you think it's going to be without him?
Yeah.
So, for me, Van Jefferson's clearly the 3 there. I would put Paris Campbell at 2. And Kadarius Toney, look, he still didn't play a ton of snaps. He scored a touchdown. He's a touchdown-dependent wide receiver 4. But in that offense, they can sustain a lot of players. And they gave up a lot to get this kid.
Yeah, they did.
So, I never trust Kansas City receivers because you never know which one it'll be.
Correct.
But I would say he is the highest upside if something happened to MVS or if the Juju injury is something that keeps him out for a while. I mean, you got to understand, they didn't have Mecole Hardman last week, and Juju got hurt, and he was good.
Yeah.
But not special.
No.
And that slides me into a topic that I wanted to talk Cooper Kupp. What are you doing with Cooper Kupp?
I'll trade him. Someone will take him. I'm not keeping him.
So he's a high ankle sprain.
Yep.
That's typically
– hell. 6.
That's typically 6. a 4 to 6 week injury.
Yep.
Cooper Kupp's a tough little dude. Here's my problem. Yep. Look at the Rams' schedule. This team's 3-6.
Look at the Rams, period. End of message. That offense is bad. I know.
The offense is awful.
I'd trade him.
So
I'd trade Cooper Kupp in a heartbeat.
All right, so let's say it's a 2 to 4 week injury. You play the Saints this week in New Orleans. Then you go to Kansas City, the Seahawks, and then the Raiders.
Okay.
How many of those games on the sunniest side are you winning?
2.
That would be my answer as well. Which means this team's going to be 5-8 with dates in Lambeau, at the Chargers, at the Seahawks, and the Broncos left. They would have to run the table to have a snowball's chance in hell of making the playoffs. Why would I bring back Cooper Kupp?
Only to get bodied by someone in the playoffs immediately.
Yeah,
You're not bringing Cooper Kupp. This is the DeAndre Swift problem in Detroit right now. So Cooper Kupp is your franchise because realistically, and I don't know, I've been busy with big boy work, so I haven't been able to listen as much as I want. Matt Stafford's probably done after this year. His wife hates. She is the biggest head trauma person out there from the Wags. And after he got concussed, she was ranting and raving about, he's got 3 little girls. He's gonna be done. I don't see a lot of time for him coming back. I don't see Aaron Donald coming back if it's going to be garbage like this again. Sean McVay should have taken that Amazon money when he was offered it, but
No
he
doubt.
didn't.
He's got to be sitting around going, hey, Mr. Bezos, you still got a check for me?
That new wife of his is probably like, you big idiot. So this is like, bye. It was fun while it lasted. Fuck them picks was hilarious. Everybody enjoyed the run. It was really fun watching your offense play. But now you're bad, and you're going to be bad for
A while.
3 or 4 years before it even thinks about getting better. So Cooper Kupp is it. He's your most valuable asset, whether you're keeping him or whether you're trading him in the offseason for some more help. So I'm not bringing him back. I'm not bringing him back at all.
That's where I'm at. So if I've got Cooper Kupp, I'm willing to trade him for anything. I'm not rushing out to add him. Somebody asked me a question of I'm 8-2 in a league, and I've got a couple bench players that I could throw at Cooper Kupp. I just feel like he's going to be dead weight on your roster, and it's going to be annoying. Yeah. I am officially to the point of I don't keep anybody on a roster if I can't see me playing them, and I can't see the week where I'm going to trust Cooper Kupp.
No.
Because they have no shot of being relevant.
Nope.
The offense is not good anyway. And by the time he comes back, hell, they could be 4-11, 5-10.
Yeah.
So you're bringing him back for the fantasy championship week, and you don't know exactly what you're going to get. I see no path that I trust that.
I don't trust it. That offense is bad. It's bad. And again, like, so you have one asset on that offense right now that's. Could you trade Cooper Kupp, like real world football? Cooper Kupp could get you something. Real world football. Maybe at the draft, maybe somewhere else where you can recoup some of those losses. I don't know if they do that. I don't know what the word on the street is, but this team looks drastically different with Wolford at under center. It looks drastically different without Stafford, without Aaron Donald, without all those guys. So I'm not bringing them back if I'm the Rams. But more importantly, I'm offloading them as soon as possible.
Well, I mean, you got to realize
he's empty calories.
Well, I mean, you got to realize this team thinks that they're competitive. They tried to trade their next 2 first-round picks that they actually possess for Brian Burns. Now, how they thought that was going to work, I have no idea, and the fact that Carolina turned it down blows my mind. But this team thinks that this is just an aberration and they're going to come back bigger, better, and badder, and I don't buy it.
No, they're bad. They're going to be bad for a while.
Hosey, Greg Dulcich, a viable plug-and-play rest of season, or should I replace him on waivers?
Yes. He's viable.
Absolutely, he's viable. Rest of season, Greg Dulcich is my tight end. Do tight end 6. But he only had 1 catch for 12 yards. Yeah, and he also ran routes on 82% of dropbacks. And he was on the field for almost 90% of the snaps. Some of them were uncatchable. Yes. Some of them were just, look, Tennessee's pretty good defensively. To me, it was a bad week. Yep. He still got targets. He could have had a good week. Just didn't work out that way. To me, that's still an elite tight end.
A.J. Brown also had a catch. Like, bad weeks exist. Don't sell off on talented guys, especially with good game script.
Correct. And Denver has several games of good game script. I like Dulcich's I like his schedule in the playoffs. He, to me, is no doubt a hold. He screwed me in leagues, too, kept me from winning bukus of money on the Draftkings.
Absolutely.
Because about everything else I said went just fine, except him.
We had a couple of bangers. Almost like we do this regularly and are frequently right. I don't know what it is.
Ta-da! Kevin the PRF. So I have Julian Hartman injured, or Mecole Hardman injured, so I snagged Watson. Can he keep Sunday's performance up, or is he a one-game wonder?
Okay, so...
I mean, we had to know this question was coming.
Christian Watson was the guy before Romeo Doubs had his opportunity. He was the guy that Rodgers wanted to get going. And from game one, you could see it. From the preseason, you could see it. He had the big splash ability. And when I looked at him playing, I was like, he is burning his opportunities. Is Romeo Dubs back next week?
I'm going to lean no.
If he's not, then pick him up because they're going to keep attempting this. However, this is the big caveat here. If Green Bay wants to continue winning, they're going to continue leaning on that run game. Aaron Rodgers, I think, threw like less than 20 times, maybe 20 times. I had the page up here. It's not
I
a
can
lot.
tell you.
It's not a lot. They scored 31.
Well, I mean, this is a running team. This is a running team with a quarterback that can hurt you over the top. And it's not ironic that the first game that they looked like the team we thought they would be was when they leaned on Aaron Jones. Aaron Rodgers was 14 of 20.
So he threw the ball 20 times. So understand that your opportunities are going to be limited. I mean, Christian Watson had 4 catches. It's not like he was loading up on the P. He wasn't loading up on the R points. He was loading up on the yard points. And it doesn't hurt that he had a bunch of tutties too. So
he had 3 touchdowns on 4 receptions, but he also had 8 targets. Christian Watson's my number 1 ad of the week.
Have to.
And I'll ask you a question. How many snaps did Christian Watson play this week? Green Bay had 64 offensive snaps.
50.
54.
Yeah.
The other 9 weeks of the season combined, he'd played 121 snaps.
Yeah.
The problem is he's been hurt. The problem is he's been inconsistent. He's still the most talented playmaker on the outside for that team. That's why they drafted him in the second round.
I was going to say, this is what they wanted when they drafted him, though. This is what he was brought in to do.
And look, if you hearken back to what I said when he came out in the draft, I said, this kid you're going to have to manufacture touches for because he doesn't know how to run an NFL route tree. So it's not really surprising to me that even with him being active for 7 games, you never saw a tremendous workload. You saw it in week 1 and you saw it in week 10. I think there were injury issues off and on in between, and now they've gotten him acclimated to a point where they can trust him. When Romeo Dubs comes back, he is still somebody they trust. Randall Cobb comes back this week. I fact or fiction, this is the biggest week Christian Watson has all year.
Fact.
I would agree. But I do think he can be a usable back-end wide receiver 3, high-end 4 for the rest of the season.
He is someone you need to target if you have a wide receiver gap. I like his – Green Bay's not done, and I have a feeling we're going to see them go on a bit of a run here. And they need to go on a run because I think they're going to push for they have an outside shot at the playoffs right now.
Oh, I think they have. I would say if you put a gun to my head right now and asked me, do the Green Bay Packers make the playoffs? I would say yes.
Yes, it's a yes. And that's what I feel. That's what I said yesterday on my Twitter show. I feel the Packers absolutely needed this. The Cowboys got killed. The Cowboys needed this more because they're now way behind. But yeah, this is Christian Watson is the guy there for the big play. That's why they brought him in. It took a little while to get there.
Soaring Eagle asked, I got 2 on a bye. Are you rolling with Aaron Rodgers or Kenny Pickett?
Aaron Rodgers.
It's Aaron Rodgers, but I don't love it. They play Tennessee this week on a short week. I could see this being a heavy Aaron Jones week.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I had to stream a quarterback this week, who would it be? It's not Pickett, I can tell you that much. He is not good, and I mean it's Cincinnati. I'll be honest with you, I would look at Taylor Heineke this week. Taylor Heineke is a mid-tier QB2. He's going to be your best streaming option. I mean, I could say Russell Wilson, but he sucks.
Not going Jimmy?
I don't mind Jimmy.
Against Arizona on the Monday?
I don't, but it's in Mexico City. It's a weird week. You never know what you're going to get.
I think you know exactly. See what I think about Jimmy. I think Jimmy is going to give you 240 yards, a touchdown, and maybe 7 to 10 yards on the ground. That's it every week.
And see if knowing that's what he's going to be, I'd rather play Taylor Heineke.
Sure. I get that.
Because there is a possibility that Dameon Pierce keeps them in the game because that is what the Houston Texans do. And Heineke has to throw. They can't cover Terry McLaurin. Terry has a huge game. Heineke winds up as the 10th highest scoring quarterback of the week. And much like Colt McCoy last week, you go, well, that worked.
You might have just talked me into a Taylor Heineke stack on DraftKings.
I might already have one of those. I built it last night as I was watching him beat the Eagles.
5,300 on DraftKings. We'll save that for Sunday, but yeah.
Yeah, you're going to hear that name a lot on Sunday. I have a funny feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hosey asked, is Christian Watson fool's gold? Nope. We just touched on that. Alex S. says he dropped Kyle Pitts. I don't think you can drop Kyle Pitts, but I get it. They just don't throw. And that team doesn't throw ever.
No.
And they're infuriating.
Yes. Yes, they are.
Chris D asked, would you drop Khalil Herbert for Pacheco? Would you drop Brandon Cooks for Christian Watson?
No and yes.
Brandon Cooks is droppable for Christian Watson. Davis Mills is king in ball, and they're not playing him. Brandon Cooks is 100% droppable.
Yeah, he's punished.
Now, the Khalil Herbert one is a little more interesting to me. I don't really know what to do with that Chicago team. At this point, the question is how many running backs can they sustain? Herbert got just massacred in snap count this week.
Yes. Do you think that happens every week, though?
I kind of do. David Montgomery is the better pass blocker.
Who's the passing down back, though?
Montgomery.
If you're leaning Montgomery as the passing down back, and that's the reality of that situation, then yeah, you might be okay to go Pacheco. Just understand when you go Pacheco that it's going to be bootsy as hell.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be good weeks. There'll be bad weeks. He's touchdown dependent, like virtually every running back in that tier.
Yeah. Same thing with Herbert, though. Herbert's going to give you weeks like that. You're going to drop Herbert, and he'll go off, and you'll question your entire existence. But
the thing about Khalil Herbert is since Chicago went to this, whatever the hell you want to call this offense, David Montgomery is massacring him in snap count.
Wildcat Plus. That's what I call it.
It's basically what it is because David Montgomery is the one they trust in pass pro. They trust him as a receiver. They trust him as the outlet to Justin Fields, which he has to have because he's basically running one route, check the drop off, take off. There is no progression in Justin Fields.
Nope.
Which is why I don't trust any of these receivers. Chase Claypool, I'm out. Darnell Mooney, okay. Cole Kmet. That's about the only Bears I want.
Yep.
And if you have Justin Fields, you should be trying to trade him aggressively. George Cook asked, Fields and Mike Evans for Cooper Kupp. Not a shot in hell.
No thanks.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp is more like, hey, here's Justin Tucker. Because kickers don't matter. So I'll fall on that grenade. That's about the most I would be willing to give. Khalil Herbert, there's another one.
Yep.
Jimmy G or Daniel Jones, I'll go Daniel Jones.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers or Dak, purely fantasy.
Who do the Cowboys have this week?
Oh, it's somebody that I like. I remember that much. Minnesota. I see a path that I have a stack of Dak with CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson.
I love that.
Because Justin Jefferson is going to beat the bejesus out of Trayvon Diggs.
I think it's probably Dak. Based on, from fantasy perspective, like Jeremy mentioned, short week for the Packers. I'd probably lean Dak there.
And just to be clear, I don't love Dak, but I would have him over Aaron Rodgers strictly for fantasy.
Yes.
Rob Johnson said Kupp's gone 4 to 6 weeks. If the Rams keep losing, they won't bring him back. I agree wholeheartedly. Alex S., is Aaron Jones and Justin Fields equivalent to Tua and Pierce? Could I sell that?
You're getting the Tua and Pierce side?
The Tua and Pierce side makes me...
That's my side.
That touches me in a place that if a woman touched me there, I would go, ooh, that's nice.
I'm your Huckleberry.
If you could sell that.
I would sell the shit out of that and go, I will have Dameon Pierce, please.
Yeah.
And you can have shitty Justin Fields, who is going to turd in your punch bowl, and I'll take Tua, who is a fantasy hero. Hosey, Henry, and Andrews for CMC and Hopkins. I don't know which side you're getting. I would be on the CMC Hopkins side of that.
I think I would be too.
I get 2 high-end starters. Mark Andrews is still hurt. I mean, it's fair. It's as fair as it gets. I would prefer the CMC and Hopkins side of that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't add anything on either side.
Nope.
I think if you add even another player on either side of that, that side becomes the winner.
Yes.
Alex says, Michael Pittman Jr. and Drake London are on waivers. Are they better than Godwin or DK? No. They both have a very simple problem of they don't have a damn quarterback. Were you about to ask how are these guys on waivers?
Yes.
That's
yes.
I wondered it myself when I read it.
Because they haven't had great time, but you drop Michael Pittman Jr. Like, are you for real? That's guy just tossed out, right?
I mean, I would be dropping my kicker to add Michael Pittman Jr., but that's just me.
16 leagues? Like, what the hell?
Kick the kicker, people. Yeah. Kick the kicker.
On Michael Pittman, in the Discord, 6 Tennessee had a question about trading guys. And before Matty Ice came back, I was of the mind that you should trade Pittman for something. If Matt Ryan is playing, Pittman is still a viable play.
I'd say he's back in wide receiver 2.
Yeah, he is. He's still a viable play. With Ellinger, it's different. He can't get the ball off. That line doesn't protect him. Matt Ryan's a vet and knows how to find his guys. He will find 2 guys. And if Taylor is actually run, which I have a feeling Jeff Saturday is going to continue to do because he's their best player, I think that you're going to see a little more activity from Pittman. That doesn't mean he's better than Godwin or DK, but I don't know why you would. Like, who else do you have that you couldn't add Pittman? Is there no one else you could drop?
Oh, I would find somebody to drop. No doubt I would find somebody to drop.
Yeah.
Rob Johnson said, I played Swift in my flex over Christian Kirk, and it cost me a dub. What should I do with Swift? Should I trade him?
I'm your boy.
I specifically said don't play DeAndre Swift, so I am indemnified from that being on me. Christian Kirk is a dog and is a every week starter.
Every week.
DeAndre Swift, I don't think he's going to see full workload all year.
No.
This is the Cooper Kupp thing all over again. This team's not good. He's part of their plan for the future. They're going to use him, I'm not going to say sparingly, just he's not going to get running back one tote. If you could trade him, I would be in. What would I be looking for? If I could get Elijah Mitchell for him, I would do it right now.
Jeff Wilson Jr., please.
Jeff Wilson Jr. There's another one. Jeff Wilson Jr. in Miami. Oh.
I'm your boy.
Told you that last week. And I was right. I had Jeff Wilson in a shitload of DraftKings lineups this week.
Same here. Jeff Wilson was a guy, if you remember last week's fantasy show, and if you don't, just go to the YouTube, look for it. It's there.
It's all there in playlists.
Yeah. I think he's going to get plenty of tote there. He knows that offense, and obviously it's a split, but he looks to have taken a bit of a lead in terms of being that guy. And I don't know if that was a one-game thing, but I don't think it is.
Alex S., Elijah Mitchell or Najee?
Elijah Mitchell.
It's Elijah Mitchell. For me, it's not really all that close.
No.
I would be trying to trade Najee off the big week.
Yeah.
Alex S. also asked Cole Kmet or Greg Dulcich. If I'm waiting for Andrews to come back, it's Dulcich.
Yeah. Dulcich has a better script.
By quite a bit. The Chicago Bear thing is coming to an end 1 week from today.
That's correct.
Cryptunes, I need a wide receiver. I'm last in waiver order. My choices are Keenan Allen, Brandon Cooks, Darnell Mooney, Kadarius Toney, Jarvis Landry, a slew of other guys. Prioritize the top 3. Keenan Allen.
Yeah. Yes.
He's all 3. As soon as I saw that name, if you saw my face move, that's because I saw Keenan Allen was available in waivers.
Yeah.
I understand his 2-week injury has become a 2-month injury, but he's coming back at some point. This team's still good.
Yep.
If for whatever you didn't get him, I would say It's Christian Watson and I almost want to say DPJ right there.
Yeah.
That's probably is that where you would go?
Yeah, I would say.
I mean, here's the thing. When Deshaun Watson comes back, DPJ's not going to get worse.
No.
Alex S. asked, is Keenan Allen droppable? Hell no. No, I will stash him, and I'm good. Michael Bernardo needed a wide receiver very bad after the Cooper injury. Traded Ken Walker and Juju for T. Higgins and Jeff Wilson. Still have ETN and JT at running back. Thoughts?
I think you did all right there.
I do too. The Kenny Walker thing kind of hit a speed bump, but I'm still trying to buy him. I'm not sold on Juju. I never have been, so I think you got a back-end wide receiver 1 in Higgins. I think you got a mid-tier RB2 in Wilson. Yeah, you gave up Kenny Walker, but you still have good options. To me, that is you went down at third running back a little bit because ETN and JT should still be and Jonathan Taylor should be the starters week in, week out.
I agree with that.
But you greatly improved at wide receiver from Juju to T. Higgins.
Definitely.
Cade Smith, I'm 6-4, pretty much locked into the playoffs. Should I it went away. Should I trade A.J. Brown for Cooper Kupp? Jesus Christ, no. Sweet baby God, no.
1 week.
If you do that, you will be sitting there looking at your fantasy team in 2 weeks going,
I'm broke as shit, and I don't mind saying it.
Cooper Kupp, the only acceptable trades for Cooper Kupp are guys you would otherwise cut. That is it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take you can take the lottery ticket. I get it. I get doing it. I'm not doing it. But I understand why somebody would do it. I'm Seacrest out. I will give you Cole Kmet for Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
And it will be nothing more than that. Chris Smith said, Jimmy's fine. I need a defense this week.
Defense this week. Stop playing in leagues of defense.
Yes.
Who
did you say?
The Commanders?
I don't hate the Commanders at all, actually.
Your Jets?
I don't hate my Jets at all, but if the Jets are available in your league, you should have them. Look at the back end of that schedule.
Yep. The Saints?
I don't mind the Saints at all. That Saints defense is still good, and the Rams are just dog water.
I guess Broncos would be the last one that I would put out there, I think.
Yeah, I don't mind that one either.
Yeah, the rest of them are kind of like,
Hosey asked, who is the most frustrating player in fantasy football?
It might be
Raheem
Najee
Mostert is the first one that came to my mind.
Sure.
Raheem Mostert is like the girl that allows you to take her to dinner, and then she gives you a kiss on the cheek, and you do this for, 5 years. Meanwhile, you could knock car windows out with the carnage that she leaves behind, and she never pays that off. Yeah, I'm trying to think of somebody more frustrating. Miles Sanders is pretty high.
Miles Sanders is high.
Yeah. Miles Sanders makes me want to go full Bruce Banner and just break shit.
I just need to.
And 9 times out of 10, it's not even his fault.
I just want to take a second to revel in my dynasty victory, where I had to emergency start Jordan Atkins at tight end, and I still won. They had Hurts at quarterback. Or Aaron Jones.
Let's play this game. Who is the saddest player that you had to play in lineups this week, and you still won?
It's Jordan Atkins.
Jordan Atkins is a good one. I played Colt McCoy and John Walford in leagues.
You want to hear the rest of? You want to hear my wide receiver lineup?
Oh, this should be
good. Great. You're gonna love it. So, do you want the top or the bottom first?
The top. Oh, we go best to shittiest around here.
Okay. Justin Jefferson, he a dog.
Dog.
Brandon Ayuk,
Dog.
and then it gets real bootsy. KJ Osborne,
Not a dog.
Khalil Shakir,
Certainly not a dog.
Marquez Callaway, who put up a 0, and I still won.
Sweet.
I have a ton of injuries. This is Dynasty, though, so you can't just go running around dropping guys willy-nilly because you'll fuck yourself. But
I played 5 tight ends in a Dynasty League this week. I played 5 tight ends.
I had Carr at quarterback and Pearson Walker as my running backs. That's why I won. And Justin Jefferson. So
Dogs.
This is what happens in Dynasty. You start building. You just got to build your team. It's a slow burn.
Alex S. Jets in New England, a trap game. Wilson or the Jets defense a start. The Jets defense is certainly a start.
Yes, but not Wilson.
Yeah, I'm probably not going Wilson. I don't think he's kind of like Marcus Mariota. They don't ask him to do that much.
I will say this. It's not a trap game. I think that it's going to be a contested game. I don't know what the score is going to look like. I don't think it's going to go particularly well for either team. I think you're going to see Garrett Wilson have another big day.
It's going to be a big old sludge fest.
It is. You're going to see a ton of Ramondre. You're going to see a ton of Garrett Wilson. It's going to be that defense shutting people down on both sides. That's what you're going to see. I don't know who's going to come out of it. I'm not going to pretend.
Guess
Probably
the over-under.
but we'll see. 38.5.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right.
I didn't look. Total stab in the dark.
You just did a tank of what is the lowest number that I could physically throw here and it makes sense.
Yeah. 38.5 was my
Did you hear me chuckle when I said it?
No. I had a feeling it was
or when I
Garrett
saw it,
Wilson,
excuse me.
not Zach. Yes, Alex S. Garrett's play. He's fine.
Garrett Wilson's certainly a play. Oh, Garrett Wilson. Okay.
Week.
He was talking about Garrett
He's a
Wilson,
play
not
every
Zach Wilson. Yeah, I would say he's a play every week. And he's a play this week.
Yeah.
Kate Smith, A.J. Brown, and Mike Williams for Stephon Diggs. I don't hate it.
No, I don't hate that at all.
I don't hate it. That's consolidating your roster because you don't know what you're going to get from Mike Williams because he's made of popsicle sticks.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you're certainly losing depth, but you're not catching the high side. Oh, you're catching the high side. You're getting the best receiver in the deal because I like A.J. Brown, and I think he's very good rest of the year, but Stephon Diggs is better.
Diggs is a dog.
Dog. Hosey, do you like stacks in regular fantasy like Gabe Davis and Josh Allen? Does that elevate a player? Yes, I've been doing it for years.
Yep.
You can't see this under my jacket, but I'm wearing I am an original OG roto grinder. So I've been doing this for a minute. I've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
I always
People are
love
just
doing that in
catching up to it
drafts.
now. They're just catching up to that now.
Yep. I do it all the time.
Yep.
Dark Soldier, I drafted Keenan Allen. Is he going to play at all this season? Yeah, I believe he will. That team's still really competitive. So, I mean, if he can physically get on the field, he will. He's an injury-prone guy. And this injury has taken much longer to heal from than I think any of us thought. Shea Ambrose, very happy I dropped Higbee for commit, at least for this week. It was the difference for me winning. Thanks, guys. You're welcome. We do like Cole Kmet around here. And I'll like Cole Kmet even once I think the Justin Fields thing falls off into the ocean.
Well, he'll become the only viable player on that offense for a long time.
Agreed. Cryptoons.
Until they draft a wide receiver.
Cryptoons, thoughts on Andrews playing this week?
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen the latest on his injury.
I think he probably plays this week. I would have a contingency just in case.
Yeah. You'll know more tomorrow.
Yep.
Because I think we'll get first look at practice, whether he was, in or out.
Limited is okay. You don't want to see him as a DMP.
Yeah. If he's limited, you should feel a little better.
And then last question here. Alex S. asked, cheap whiskey in bulk or nice whiskey for a couple?
Nice whiskey for a couple.
Agreed. Well, I agree with that. And then you should have the freezer full of Fireball for when shit gets weird.
Why not both?
100%. You go like our buddy Jason Ward, the owner of Trinity Farms CBD here in lovely Asheville, North Carolina, and just have one of everything. He's got a Noah's Ark of alcohols. If there's some random whiskey that they make in some third world country and they made 6 bottles of it, Jason's got one of them.
God said to Noah, "There's gonna be a drinky."
Did you just make that up, or is that from something?
So Ned Flanders on The Simpsons.
Oh yeah.
Did it with Noah's Ark, and I just made it up now.
I'm
disappointed that we're not able to do more Kansas City Chiefs shit because they're so awful with fantasy that I can't break up my Patrick Mahomes, but we'll do it next time.
Indeed. On the way out, waiver advice. It's Christian Watson, Rachaad White, who we didn't even talk about, mainly because we told you this 2 weeks ago. So we feel like, as I'm sitting here looking at the Rachaad White ownership at 35%, I feel like that's just the people that listen to this show.
100%.
When we went, hey, Leonard Fournette sucks. Rachaad White doesn't.
He's going to get the tote, and then he did, and now he will. Will.
By the way, I'd be remiss if I didn't point this out on the way out, and then I'll give you a shot for an on the way out. This is the week to go get Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Don't use waiver priority because everybody in your league is going to think they have another week. Go get him.
Mm-hmm. Get him now.
Because I think Cleveland will still have an outside chance at the playoffs, and that's probably enough for him to come out and just throw it all over the yard.
Gotta try.
You have one for the road?
Christian Watson, Rachaad White. That's the Greg Dulcich still.
100%.
I don't know why we have to keep saying that.
If somebody in your league drops Greg Dulcich, sit around, laugh, and claim him yourself.
Also, don't panic after a bad week.
No,
Calm
God,
down.
no, God, no. Everybody loses. Last question. Alex asked, who should we aggressively be trying to trade for? I have a couple answers to this.
Go ahead. I haven't looked at the schedule deeply enough to go.
This week, I'm trying to buy Kenny Walker because he pooped in a bunch of punch bowls, and you know how people work, especially at the trade deadline. If somebody poos in my punch bowl, I'm going to trade him, and it's stupid. Travis Etienne is another one. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I say him every single week. I keep saying him. I'm going to keep saying him. And this week he showed you why. James Robinson, that's another one.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Players that I'm out on, I would try to sell Najee Harris this week. Raheem Mostert had a good enough game that he still has some value, but I'm trying to get off him because that is clearly Jeff Wilson's backfield. And Leonard Fournette is bad.
Trade Joe Mixon.
Oh, and trade Joe Mixon.
Schedule is bad.
Yes, trade Joe Mixon.
Schedule is bad.
Trade Joe Mixon. Do it aggressively. Do it now. Do it often. And yes, Rachaad White over Elijah Mitchell in waivers, but it's close.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, boys and girls, this has been fun. I have another show to prepare for, 3 o'clock, Power Rankings, ranking all 32 teams. It's going to be a good time. I feel like we should do a trade show sometime this week.
Yes.
Follow us on all the social medias at The Sportsocracy. We'll put out the schedule for that. We got a lot of things happening this week. Apparently, I'm going to be in a Santa suit at some point this week. Let's do this. For the Canadan David Smith, I am the Mullet Man Jeremy Greene, and we will see you next time.
Peace.